Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Skycast. I'm your host, Chase, today, and we're going to be bringing in Bobby in a few to give us our discussion on today's topic, which is the NFL. Before we get started today, as always, please subscribe, like, or comment on the video, please. It really helps us out a lot. And you can tap the little bell notification so you get all important updates on all our videos and anything we post out. You're not going to want to miss an upload all 2022 and beyond. Trust me, we got a lot of great stuff coming for you guys. So just bear with us, but we got a lot of stuff pushing out. Like I said, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today for all your information. So let's get it started, guys. So we're gonna get y'all out of here, on time as usual. I ain't gonna keep y'all long. I'll get straight to the point. So today's topic, we're gonna talk about the NFL football season coming to a close. We got the Super Bowl coming on February 13th. Between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. First, Tom Brady, number 12, the GOAT, retiring 7 Super Bowls. You guys know all the accolades. This guy, from the beginning to the end, class act, he's going to be very missed. I feel bad for the people that are coming behind us. They're not going to be able to watch Tom Brady live and see, or even on TV and see the greatness that, the game is lost at the quarterback position. So that's enough on that. We also have some interesting storylines in the NFL. We have the Brian Flores situation. So this is Black History Month. It's definitely the perfect time to talk about it. But this is something that's been going on quite for a while in terms of minorities and head coaching opportunities. And NFL has always been a very big thing. Right now, currently only 3 minority coaches in the NFL as of right now. And the craziest part is we're talking about this, and we have a lot of vacancies. Once again, we always have vacancies every year, but we have some more vacancies this year. And the reason I say this about the vacancies is because we have a few coordinators, offensive defensive coordinators that are also minorities. DeMeco Ryans for the 49ers. We have Raheem Morris from the Rams. We have Eric Bieniemy, the Kansas City Chiefs. And we also have Brian Leftwich of Tampa Bay. So, we have, outside of all the other coordinators, there also are, coming up for head coaching positions. I just, highlight those individuals because they're, are minorities coordinators. And so, these are very decorated individuals, and, their resumes, stacked beside, anybody else's. And it's just terrible. It's terrible to see still in 2022 that we're not having fair hiring practices by ownership of these 32 entities in the NFL, as we call them. We just really need, I just think as not only just a community, but just as a culture that we just need more transparency from the owners in terms of what are these practices looking like. Because right now, even though that we have the Ronnie Rule in place, which is pretty much to give minorities a chance to to get interviewed and stuff, it's more so looked at as, and it's the way it's been handled is more so as in a check in the box kind of thing. Like, okay, like on the kind of, we go to sit down to an interview and they're asking you questions, they're checking certain boxes. It's just a check on the box, but they're not really, we're not still at the point where the coaches, the African American minority coaches feel like that they still have a legitimate chance. They get these opportunities that they are passed over. And for the Brian Flores situation, he had a situation in Denver. He had one in the New York Giants, and now this most recent one, the firing of the Miami Dolphins. They going 24-25 this season, 9-8, and 24-25 over his 2 seasons, 9-8 this year. You gotta understand, they're in the AFC East, and a young team. The AFC East though, with Buffalo and New England, it's going to be they're not in a position to really challenge these teams on a consistent basis for these top 1 and 2 spots in their division. And there's a lot of strong teams obviously in both conferences as well, but that's a young team. But for them to start the season off, I think it was 0-7 or something, then to almost rally out pretty much like 9 straight games almost was crazy, and a testament to tell how great of a job Brian Flores was doing, and that, this team kept hope. This team could have easily bailed out and said, we're going to quit, rack it up, season's over, we can't make the playoffs. What are the chances of us winning this many games straight late? Slim chances, but this team kept fighting, and so that says a lot about his character. So I really don't think it was a performance issue, and they also had a little bit of him and ownership had a little bit of trouble over the quarterback situation. I know there was the Tua or the Sean Watson, which one we rather have kind of thing. And not only that, in season 1, there are allegations out there saying that coming from Brian Flores and his camp, saying that, look, Ross, Stephen Ross pretty much said, I'll give you guys $100,000 to lose so that we can get higher draft pick. And with these kind of practices, it's really tough to to say like he was given a fair share, because pretty much we're saying because they didn't lose these games his first year, and they didn't lose not on purpose anyway, for sure. And so that had a lot to do with his firing, and based on in these allegations and his performance, it really doesn't seem like he was terminated fairly. And for him, this being his third team, and it's kind of his third kind of situation, is really crazy to see. And sadly, because he brought up all this stuff and things, these allegations, it's going to take months to to really uncover, and to go through this lawsuit. But it's going to be tough for him even after this to get a coaching job. So I really do hopes that that we do see justice with this. It'd be a right step in the right direction, because like I said, with the Ronnie rule we have right now, it's really not. It really hasn't lived up to what it can be and what it could be. So that's we just have to hope for the best on that note. Also, another news, we have the Washington Commanders. So everyone knows used to be the Washington Redskins, for those who don't know, used to be the Washington Redskins, and then it was the Washington football team, and they kind of opened it up to the community, and and asked what should we change our name to be because of the backlash with the Redskins thing. I understand them going away from the whole Indian tribal kind of thing. When you look at the teams in Washington, you have the Capitals, Nationals, things like that. Also the Wizards. I feel like the Washington football team could have chose maybe a little bit better than the Commanders. I didn't think it'd take them 2 years to come up with the name Commanders. I'm just saying, maybe I understand they go more like militia kind of way, but I feel like they could have went maybe a little bit different route with the name. I still like they kept the colors and things. I feel like that's a really that's good. And their alternate jersey looks really good. So that's a good sign. But I'm curious to see how the fan base and everyone really reacts to really seeing the Commanders as a here to stay name. It is this upcoming season. I'm really curious saying hopefully Bobby, I'd like to know your take on this too. But before we wrap up what I have to say, we're gonna talk about two other things. One, Brian Scott, the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, was actually signed to Denitis, which is a professional esports organization, and I think it's in Philadelphia. They've been around for a long time, but they signed him as a substitute Rocket League player. And I was looking at some of the reports, and he's the first ever dual esport athlete in a sense. Like he's a professional football player, but he's also a professional Rocket League player, and that has never been done before. And that's really cool to see that we're still taking leaps and bounds and things like that in terms of meshing the gap in sports and esports. That's really cool to see. And last but not least, the segment you all have been waiting for, the highly anticipated debate on the Super Bowl 56 conclusion. So, me personally, I like Joe Burrow. I think Cincinnati has a franchise quarterback, and I think they'll be a very strong team for many years. Long as they keep, Burrow and his weapons, and they protect him so he doesn't get hurt, and that he doesn't end up like Wentz or Andrew Luck or anything like that. Then they'll be around the AFC they're gonna be up there, top 5 team for sure. They definitely have that potential to stay there. I don't think they're no longer underdogs by no means. I just think in this matchup, it's gonna come down. These kind of games, it comes down to talent. And that's kind of how I feel. It's going to really come down to talent. And I think just the Rams are more talented than the Kansas City Chiefs on both sides of the ball, especially on that defensive front for the Los Angeles Rams. They're going to have to commit guys to Aaron Donald. And he gets better as the game goes on, which is when teams wear it down. So you got to watch out for him. You got to watch out for Floyd. You got to also watch out for Von Miller. These are all pros. All pros in their respective positions. And they're not going to let Joe Burrow run for almost two straight 3rd and long completions with his legs, and they're not going to miss a sack like we saw Chris Jones, the All-Pro, did last week. I just don't see it happen. Plus, the offensive line is banged up for the Bengals, and they haven't held up on that right side the whole year. And so I doubt that, Sean McVay and the Rams defensive, staff are going to not exploit this. I just don't see it. And plus, on the back end, we're gonna put Jalen Ramsey on Jamar Chase, and so he's not gonna just do whatever he wants. And we're probably gonna put Scott on Boyd, the tight end, and Scott's been playing. He came out the special teams unit for the Rams. He's been making some big plays in the last couple of weeks. He made some big plays on Gronk, and Gronk's like twice his size. But he finds a way. He gets in there and he breaks up passes. He's very instinctful. And you got guys like veteran Weddle. You got Weddle back there too as well. I don't see this defense letting down. I see them stepping up, and people talk about Matthew Stafford. Like, look, this guy's only threw 1 interception the whole postseason. It was like a tip ball situation. Matthew Stafford is one of the most complete quarterbacks in our league. We're talking about a guy who leads the league in like percentage or QBR when the blitz is in his face. We're talking about a guy who is up there in terms of quarterbacks who lead their teams, fourth quarter comebacks, fourth quarter last minute drives. This guy is the real deal. Matthew Stafford is complete, and a lot of people don't think so because all the years he played in Detroit. But this guy, if he got Detroit to the playoffs, he's supposed to do. Detroit, I'm sorry, they're not that good. I'm sorry, they shouldn't even be playing on Thanksgiving. My opinion. That's just no. But that's what I'm saying. Matthew Stafford is a complete quarterback. And the weapons he has around him, the Triple Crown threat, and Cooper Kupp, and the way they can use him, and Odell has come along, and Van Jefferson, they're lucky Woods is hurt. And so I say this Rams team is a really complete team. They can run the ball too with Cam Akers. He looks really good, long as he protects the football, and they got Sony Michel as well. I feel like this is gonna be just too much. I feel like it's gonna be too much weight to overcome on Joe Burrow's shoulders, and they can't just expect Joe Burrow to own all this responsibility. He's gonna do his best for sure. He's a very good quarterback, and he's very poised, at his age. And I really do think he's gonna play a really good game. He's gonna give them a chance. It's just, I don't know, with all the weapons and all the talent on both sides, is he just going to be enough? Because the defensive front for the Bengals is also hurt too. We seen what Henderson looked like last week. He wasn't even on some of the drives the Chiefs had, honestly. And it was really a letdown. Like, when you're on, Kansas City Cincinnati did their thing. Sure, give them credit. They did their thing. But it was also a letdown on the Chiefs' part as well. So, if the Bengals really do come out, it's going to have to be probably a late drive that's a field goal, or the Rams going to have to make a mistake, or the Cincinnati's going to have to force a mistake. But I don't think Cincinnati's going to be able to come off I don't think they're going to be able to come away with a Super Bowl win off of these walk-off field goals. I just don't see it. You're going to have to actually beat. I feel like this for the Rams, they're not going to beat themselves like we've seen the Chiefs, the Titans. I just don't feel like they're going to do that. I don't feel like they're really going to beat themselves. I feel that's what's really going to come down to. They're not going to beat themselves. This is a really complete team. They're pretty much playing a home game at LA. and it's going to be loud, and they're going to get after it, and they're not going to give them anything. So as long as they don't literally shoot themselves in the foot like they almost did versus Tampa, I don't really see a letdown from the Rams standpoint. I'm sorry, I don't. And if it's a loss, it is because they shot themselves in the foot, and it comes down to a last second drive field goal situation. That's the only way. I don't see the Bengals coming out with a double digit win. I don't see this at all. And I don't think the Rams are going to underestimate their opponent either. They've seen what they've done, but they also know that we prepared all year, previous years, making transactions to get the team that we have to get to this point. And I don't think they're ready just to throw in the towel and let it go easy because, there's some new kids on the block. I really don't think so. But Bobby, what do you think? Because I know this is a debate, and I know you have a lot to say for the other side of the coin too. So I'm curious to see what you have to say, man. Go ahead and take it away, sir.
Thank you, Chase, for introducing me. I appreciate your take, but I'm gonna have to say we must have gotten Grandpa Chase today. We must have gotten Grandpa Chase, who didn't bring his glasses, because he clearly hasn't seen how lethal and how devastating this Bengals offense can be against this Rams defense. Yes, I'm highly aware of the talent that's on this Rams defense. Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey. There's multiple different other all-pros that's on this Rams defense, and I understand how devastating they can be when they're at full throttle. But this same Rams defense, since Week 18, has given up 981 passing yards since Week 18. Starting with Week 18 itself, giving up 314 yards. The start of the wild card, giving up 112, which is probably their best. They only given up 112 passing yards. The divisional, they gave up 308 passing yards. And in the conference championship, they given up 232 passing yards. They've given up 981 passing yards. This is including with an all-pro in Jalen Ramsey, and then this is including with Von Miller. This is including with these same defensive guys that everyone's worried about. They've given up 981 passing yards with multiple turnovers on the offensive end with Matthew Stafford. Multiple, including in the postseason with 4 turnovers just recently with Matthew Stafford. So with that being a huge stipulation, and how much they can be able to affect their own game. This is not even me breaking down Bengals. This is just how much they've given up. Meaning they are very shut down when it comes to the run game. They can shut down the run game easily, but you have to understand the Bengals was never, this year they haven't been about the run game. It's all about the pass game with this Bengals team. And if you go over to the Bengals side of things, you see that Joe, since Week 18, and the Bengals offense has thrown for 1,764 yards just in passing, putting up almost 200 yards per game, and this is just off of him passing since week 16 has given up that many yards. And then recently, like Week 18, he gave up 400. He passed for 400 yards, and then so forth. Off in the postseason, he's passed for 200 yards per game in the postseason. In the postseason, he's passed for 200 yards per game or more in the postseason. So that tells you, and Joe is not only the highest QB rating quarterback within the NFL right now, and he dominates within zone coverage. So you have to understand why I'm picking the Bengals and why I side the Bengals to win. And this is how I'm not saying the Bengals are going to blow out this all-star Rams defense, but you have to understand, all due credit to OBJ and the offensive work with Coop, and I didn't even consider the Rams offense, Matthew Stafford and the guys over on the Rams offense, but you have to understand the takeaways that the Rams offense has given up, the amount of points the Rams offense has put up in the postseason in comparison, and on top of that, how much passing yardage that the Rams defense has given up since Week 18. I'm going to go all throttle. If it's going to be a passing game, since neither team has been really heavy dominant this postseason in the run game, since it's going to be a pass heavy game, I'm gonna bet my cards against Joe, because Joe's one hasn't got a lot of takeaways. If you check the stats, he got sacked 9 times recently. He's been getting tackled in the backfield, but hasn't given up the ball. He hasn't had any takeaways. It hasn't thrown for any mini interceptions as well. So you can say, like, consistency is going to be a really who makes the first mistake. And I really do feel like Joe and the Cincinnati Bengals, with their offense and their defense, they're going to make less mistakes, because they haven't been making a lot of mistakes. They've been capitalizing. If you haven't noticed how the Cincinnati Bengals have gotten to the Super Bowl, they've been capitalizing on every opportunity. If you want to go with another different take, if you want to go with a title, they're the ultimate opportunists. You know what I mean? They're constantly capitalizing on on other teams' mistakes. Whether it's an interception, whether it's them doing whatever they're doing, they're capitalizing on the mistakes to win games. Whether you want to say that they don't have all these all pros, whether you say they're a young team, whatever you have to say about the Cincinnati Bengals, one thing that you cannot take away from them is that they win football games. That's what matters. It doesn't matter about the damn stats. Doesn't matter about any of it. They win football games. However it means they win football games. And recently, with that type of consistency, with Joe not giving up the ball, him dominating in the zone coverage, and the only key point, the reason why I'm saying that Joe might dominate this game in the zone, is because if Rams do not allow Jalen Ramsey to hold hands on the offensive rookie of the year, Jamar Chase, you've guys seen what Jamar Chase put up this year. He's the offensive, and the man is offensive rookie of the year for rookie. Like, come on, man. Like, it sets the tone. If Jalen Ramsey don't put hands like what Richard Sherman, which is an all-pro on his right from former Seattle Seahawks, my favorite. Legion of Boom, Mr. Richard Sherman himself even stated, if Jalen Ramsey ain't playing man-to-man coverage, it's going to be hard for him to contain Jamar Chase. And then you have to understand the LSU chemistry that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow already has, and them winning a national title together. So they're already in plans of big. They already are used to big plays. These guys are not coming in. People think, oh, this is their first Super Bowl. This is Joe Burrow's second big time moment. He's come back from a torn ACL and brought his team to the Super Bowl. This is his big time moment, and he's already was able to do the same thing you guys seen what he was able to do, passing for, I don't know, almost 400 yards again in his LSU national title game. So you have to understand, like, this is the reason why I pick a 17-10. That's my prediction. 17-10 Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals. That's my prediction. That's my take. Chase, you hear it. The reason why is it's just more, I feel like the Rams will hurt themselves because of the constant takeaways that you see. If Matthew Stafford plays flawless, OBJ plays flawless, Coop plays flawless, and that offense is clicking and scoring, and the Cincinnati Bengals defense can't hold up, then it all relies on how well Joe Burrow can decipher this Rams defense and be able to continue scoring, because it'll be who can score the most at that point. And with that Rams defense being it's really up to this. Like, in all honesty, what's going to win the game, the football game for the Cincinnati Bengals, is if they can contain the Rams offense. The Cincinnati defense has to contain that Rams offense. If they can contain that Rams offense to at least 10 points, and Joe Burrow can be able to capitalize on some opportunities that this defense can make, just knowing how badly they've been playing in the passing game, being able to defend against the pass, you'll see the numbers. So that's my take, everybody. I appreciate everyone staying tuned. I'm sorry, I'm a little discombobulated this morning wearing the Fire Sticks Gaming right there. You relax. But I appreciate everyone staying tuned to the Skycast. Y'all haven't seen me in a while. I've been in behind the scenes doing Road Company. You guys have been seeing me stream, so make sure you check out the Road Company stream at twitch.tv/SkyLola. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell to get all notification on anything Skycast related. Also, most of you guys have watched our content. It's 90% of you guys who watch our content, but you haven't subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. I hope you guys enjoy the content. We are going to be dropping more and more content like this takes on all the updating sports and stuff like that, so I hope you guys do enjoy it. But I appreciate it. This is my take. I say 17-10. You hear it first. Cincinnati Bengals. Hopefully Joe Shiesty can be able to make big plays, and prove me wrong and prove why I feel like they are confident. Even if Joe Shiesty don't even win the Super Bowl, I feel like this is a huge experience because you have to think about all those players on that Cincinnati Bengals team are young. So they can come back with the experience they need to be able to capitalize next year, especially with Mr. Rumored. Gronk might not retire and might go over there and join, because he said it on quite a few different news articles and posts, saying that if any quarterback he would like to play for next year, it'll be with that young buck, Joe Shiesty, Joe Burrow. So hopefully, regardless of whatever happens, I'm rooting for the Cincinnati Bengals, 17-10. Hope you guys enjoy the content. Appreciate the follow, subscribe. Make sure you guys stay tuned to everything upcoming. All right, we'll be out.